Good morning again, and I'm really happy to be here, especially on the topic about communication and engagement, because one of my strengths is networking and communication, but mainly because I want to and like to talk a lot, as you may notice a bit later. But actually, I have spent quite many years in communication field, but last 12 years I'm leading the Institute for Corporate Sustainability and Responsibility. So I will try to share at least a bit of my practice here during these couple of hours. But I'm not an academic, I'm a practitioner. I have a master's degree in communication, but still I prefer doing rather than researching or just reading about things. So I will be more than happy if you will ask some very practical questions. And also during these couple of hours, I'm not planning to talk only myself. Actually, I was not planning to talk a lot at all, but still I realized in the very beginning that some of you don't have a microphones. Most probably will have to be flexible and see how to engage with different methods and tools. So I will now try to share my screen to continue a bit my story. I hope that you are able to see my screen. I know that that in today's agenda it was said that that story or activity will be dedicated to communication plan, but because of my my experience and my current job, I would rather try to mix communication and engagement, but I will share this a bit later. I hope that you have prepared one picture about not maybe about yourself, but about your projects or your companies. But this is one of the pictures I like a lot because it's not only about my family. I'm having 4 kids. It has only formed me as personality, of course, and professional, because my 4 kids are one of the reasons why I'm very much interested in diversity management, and providing equal opportunities for everybody, despite their health or physical conditions or race. And other personality aspects. I like to call myself a responsible business activist because I really like to encourage people discuss and act in a responsible manner. So this will be something that we will try to do today. But before we move on to communication and target audiences or stakeholders, do some of you have prepared the picture and can share a bit about yourself? Has anyone prepare the picture about your project?
I encourage you to start because unfortunately I can't share the screen. So please, our great colleagues from SEMPRE Accelerators project, please welcome with yours first, and I will try to switch on another, meanwhile on another PC.
Okay, I can share my project, our project from UC Syd. We have made a poster for the project, and a poster we are using commercial-wise. And I have translated it. It originally it was in Danish, but I've translated it in English. And I can talk a little bit about the project when I'm sharing the poster here.
Great.
Yep. Try to share it. So
we can see well.
Good. So I have used the SEMPRE ACE template to make the poster, and this is a micro project we are doing in cooperation with the UC Syd, the school UC Syd University College, and it started as a small project where we were cooperating with the social psychiatry in the city of Wien, and we were making a podcast project for the users in the city of Wien, and the two persons on the picture, Tove and Chloe, were the first participants in the project. And right now we are making the project bigger, so we are incorporating the project into the school UC Syd, the University College, and we are working with the students also. So right now we are working to make a communication plan to enlighten the students also in the project, and we are starting here in December, in the month of December, and after Christmas we are working with the school also. But as described here, the participants, the users in the project, will be teaching also at the school with the teachers. Me and the other persons involved in the project are teachers at UC Syd. So this is just an example of a small part of the project and how we want to show the project to the students at the school. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So you already had some communication activities done. I will be happy to maybe answer some practical questions you most probably already have. So it's great that there is already something going on. So we can. We should not start from the scratch, because next time when we meet, you will have an opportunity to already share your communication plans, or at least the drafts, their drafts. So thank you for this. Maybe somebody else would like to.
Yep.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I don't have a post about our projects. In Russia, we don't have a micro projects. We started to work in the last year, and we just use the books from the SEMPRE projects, and we practice the tools from handbooks. And we work with two organizations. One is organization who help for people with mental disabilities, and psychic problems, and the other organization is organization who help people who were alcoholics and drug users, and now they have social rehabilitation. And now we just try to use SEMPRE tools with them, and just find to ways how to improve the social skills and others.
Very, very nice. Thank you, Mary.
Okay, so I'm representing Latvia and the Vidzeme region specifically. So can you see the picture? I think
Yes.
our SEMPRE project partners have seen it already. It's from the earlier stage of the project, but the main idea remains. So our micro project is targeted on single mothers and mothers with more than 3 children in one rural area who are most of the moms are unemployed and in search of work, and it's because of different factors affecting their lives. So our project is now targeted on this particular group, and together we are developing a social enterprise. It's not very easy right now due to this specific COVID circumstances, and we wanted to open the coffee shop because during the project phase, most of our participants have developed certain skills on handcrafts, and also have managed to train up for serving and hostilities, and might be and the social enterprise was meant to be their first working place, an environment where they can develop further. So our coffee shop is called Stopover, and yes, we are still waiting on some decisions from our authorities on opening, but yes, this is our group, and we are together, and we are trying to keep alive in sense of meeting, and also use some online platforms. And on Friday we will have a walk in the woods where we will maybe enjoy some for the first time after, again, for a longer period of time, together some event. But we'll see. We are very sensitive to what is happening right now in Latvia. So, and here on the picture we can see most of the group, but not all of the group. So we have some of the ladies have joined later. And we're not on this particular picture. And we have also one man who is developing the web page. So he's responsible for web development. Yes. So this is in short about us. And we are looking forward to hear how to kind of communicate about us, because we are not professionals at all on this point.
Yeah, we will for sure come to this part as well. Thank you. Very nice picture, and absolutely great to hear what you are doing. Maybe somebody else would like to share a few words about yourself, or it's too early this morning. I usually wake up at 5, so it's quite late for me already. I'm already quite activated, so that way I try to encourage.
I can help you. That's it. I can help you, and I am giving the word to Karin. I saw that she joined us, and I know that she already have a presentation prepared. I saw it yesterday. Karin, the stage is yours. And you can give the next one a speaker.
Yeah. We are from Latvia, from Diakonal Center Liepāja, and in this project our target group are people with disabilities in Rucava region, and we started before 4 years with conference, and we gathered together people with disabilities, marginalized people, people with low income, and after this conference they founded 3 support groups for people with disabilities in near Rucavas, this region. And people started to go together and to do different things. And one thing was they tried new recipes from European Union food packs because they are poor people and they need this help, and they wanted somehow somehow better make their life. And after this process, we helped them, I would say, to made 2 recipes books from these food packs. And after it, we organized the training course, cheap, healthy, delicious. And it was like continue all this process. And our next step, what we would like to do and what we would like help people, it is found an NGO for people with disabilities in this region. And
NGO, this would be your like unique feature, that this will be for people from this specific region. Because this was my first question when I saw this on your slide. What will differ you from other similar NGOs? Do you have already idea?
This what is different from other?
Yeah.
I understood. Oh, okay. No, it is vulnerable people, marginalized people, and no, I think they need help, and they need person who can help. It's like mentor, social service providers, yeah, and I think it is different, yeah.
Yeah. So this will be something that your NGO will deal with, yes, to mainly to focus on supporting these people, as far as I understood.
Yeah, support, but we would like to do things that they can be independent, and we see good these possibilities.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will have some further questions, but thank you for now. I'm sure that we will discuss during this practical part of our today's meeting. Thank you. It was insightful.
Okay. So this is our micro project. We are in the north of Germany, and these are migrants and refugees who are writing articles. And the website and also in magazines. They do it to get in contact with the people here in Germany and to integrate themselves. And yeah, because it's their main task to write. They're very interested in this issue of communication and engagement. So we're very curious what we can learn in this training.
Thank you. As far as I understood also from description that you are already, communication is already part of your project because of this magazine, and
yeah.
So great that you can share your experience. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, maybe you can share without slides. I'm sure it could be interesting.
Actually,
I present Aldi as a project of single parents, and they they make a website to build a network for single parents, because they're in a rural area, and with this network of the website, they want to support single parents in Dithmarschen. And so it's a website from single parents for single parents, and with the themes of their life situation. And also they try to do some events for single parents, like every meeting is important for them with childcare, and with a good atmosphere to give the participants and the guests the free room to work on the theme and to have exchange. That's very important. So we get always coffee and bread, and they have a good feeling, because the children have a good childcare while they are working. So yes, and in the long run, we are try to change the structure for more child-friendly situation and environment. So that's the place where we are.
Great, and I noticed that you already do a lot of communication stuff. So you are quite aware of already about this communication part. So I see that you will be ready to share with others your experience, right?
Yes. Okay.
Great. So maybe we can proceed, and Mel, I will be happy to find out about your project a bit later. But I already read your stories on the project website. Of course, not in details, but at least general or overall picture about what you all are doing, I already have. And it's something absolutely great. So I also, as I mentioned at the very beginning, I believe in equal opportunities, and I think it's essential for success on different levels, on organizational level, of course, and on individual, but also on kind of countries level. So I think we all become a bit more successful and happier if we provide these equal opportunities. So but today I'm going to share some practical advices and my approach to communication, so you can compare and see what you can use in your projects. And since you all already have at least some experience with communicating about your activities, I will be happy to really answer some questions or start a discussion to make all this stuff more practical and kind of usable later. So I will share my my screen again, just to make my my speech more structured. This is this. So I will try to do. Since I love to talk a lot, a few slides always help me to keep on track, not losing the main purpose of. So you already shared not only photos but even presentations about what you are doing. So now is my turn to continue with today's topic. And since the first task was to find target audiences, I would like to maybe initiate a discussion, and here you could share your approach, whether you are thinking about target audiences or you are thinking in frame of stakeholders. Can some of you share experience here? So if you have any experience, for example, Hannes, you already shared some stuff what you are doing regarding communication. So do you focus on target audiences or on stakeholders? What's your approach?
We do different strategies. For one aim of our group is to get more members, and when we invite for our meetings, and now they are single parents, I have the email address. I contacted them personally and say, hello, Tanya, we invite you to our meeting. Yes, and another one is we always take the newspaper and write that we are meeting and invite every interested people. They not have to be single parents. They have to be interested in the scene. And another, for a special theme, we try to get experts from extern and to invite them and to speak about it. And then when we have a special event, we invite also institutions.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I spent quite many years working in communication with the State Labor Inspectorate or in State Insolvency Administration or Latvian Basketball Federation. And I also have my master's degree in communication. And of course, we always talk about target audiences, but when I started to work with the Institute for Corporate Sustainability and Responsibility 12 years ago, I actually, and I worked also for communication consultancy for some years. And then after a while, I realized that, yes, at some point, as Hannes just mentioned, we can speak about target audiences. But I think it's absolutely crucial thing in terms of stakeholders, and I explain why, and you will have opportunity to think about your projects and your potential stakeholders. because it would form also part of your communication strategy or plan. As I see target audiences, it's like in Hanna's example, it's in my mind, it's one-way communication. It's in case of target audiences, these audiences usually are more like receivers of the messages, because we usually reach them via mass media, for example, or social media, and they are not able to give us give us the feedback or somehow interact with us. So I always have had a feeling that target audience is more about marketing, and of course in marketing you should think about target audiences, but on everyday level and implementing your activities or your projects, I would think that that first step would be to identify and engage stakeholders. Because stakeholders, as many of you may know, are both groups and individuals who may directly impact your projects, or may be impacted by your projects or organizations decisions and actions. And you already in your stories mentioned some of your stakeholders, which are of course people which are involved, like in Tina's example, those are people which migrants and refugees, but also you and your colleagues working with these people, and also media, or in Hanna's example, or for example in Anna's example about project in Vidzeme. Yes, these are these young or women or other persons involved in the project directly, but also it can be municipality or some local companies or businesses. And actually, when we talk with businesses, then stakeholder engagement is usually mentioned as one of key to efficiency, because to reach your target audiences or your stakeholders via mass media, you need quite a lot of resources or quite a large marketing budget, and not always media relations can help you to reach the goal or objective. Because especially in your cases, you may know better than me that not always, and maybe even in most cases, these people we cannot directly reach by mass media. And this was something that I noticed working in communication consultancy, because usually companies came to us saying we have a certain amount of money, and please prepare a communication plan for us. We want to be on media, and we had to have a certain number of publications, for example, in newspapers. And then you understand that actually it's not their real objective to just be on newspaper. usually when you start conversation with the companies or CEOs, you realize that actually they want to sell more, they want to attract more customers or more visitors, or widen their network, as some of you also mentioned. Quite similar objectives to what you just shared. But sometimes the first idea is that I should be on media to reach my objective. And in these cases, stakeholder engagement or stakeholder management is very useful tool to understand that actually mass media may not be the only channel or so important stakeholder to focus on this. That maybe one-to-one meetings with some crucial stakeholders can help you a lot more. But maybe you have some other feelings or thoughts, so you are welcome to share. I'm always happy to discuss. So please interrupt me or just turn on your microphones and share right now before we proceed. What is maybe your feeling, Anna, or others, Anastasia? Anna is asking what is stakeholder management, and we will proceed with this. It's quite long, maybe not long, but I mean it's a process which starts with identifying your potential stakeholders, but we will come to this right now. So thank you for this question. I will proceed with this. But maybe some thoughts here. Maybe some of you have had experience with stakeholder management. Because I noticed in some of your stories you mentioned the interested parties and yes.
We had experience with this kind of local empowerment network building in our project, and we use this relationship, or we can say that they are the stakeholders that we have identified in our projects. But at the same time, I think that what is a bit challenging, stakeholders that we have identified in one point of time, they are transforming, or the newcomers are in one period of time, somebody is leaving, and it's kind of I can't explain it right now, but I feel that we do not have a real control about the stakeholders in our project. Sorry of saying it, but it's something that we feel that we have stakeholders, but if we want to put them on the list or do some technically useful thing with this list, then I find that actually I don't know. It's very, very hard to think of their roles in different periods of time. They are like dropping in and out, and So I'm very interested about the
thank you. You actually stressed two important points. First is that this is kind of ongoing process. You cannot just identify stakeholders once and then keep living with this stakeholder list, whatever you are doing with this stakeholders later. So you have to review this list and also review their reassess their importance and interest frequently. But another thing is that stakeholder management and identification of stakeholders is useful only if you really prepare very technical list of them with their names and contacts. Then it works the best, because usually it's not just stakeholder without any name. Usually there is at least one person you can think of when looking at this stakeholder. So let's proceed with this, and I will answer the questions which just were raised. So who are your stakeholders? It's great to hear that you already have identified your stakeholders, and so you will be able to share. But it's not enough just to identify it, just as I just said, because the mistake, for example, which I see companies very often make, they prepare the list of very general stakeholders without preparing their actual list of names and contacts, which can be used later in communication. So in this process, is important that you identify the groups of stakeholders or categories, and then try to, for example, if these are NGOs, then please try to think of specific NGOs and name them in this list. For example, World Wildlife Fund, or some NGOs dealing with people with, for example, with reduced mobility, or some mental disorders, or it can be some women empowerment network. It doesn't mean, I mean, the main thing is that once you identified the categories of your stakeholders, please put in this Excel or whatever table names of these organizations or positions of the people, or at least their names, especially when it comes to local community. Because I'm also working in one Urbact project, Cities for CSR, and we also prepared the list of local action group members. And as Anna just told, it's not easy, because these people change all the time, and there are some newcomers, and then some of these people don't want to be involved anymore. So of course we are reviewing this list, but at least we have actually the list of contacts. And once we organize some workshop, then we can look, for example, for active companies or active NGOs, which can help to attract participants for this workshop, or can be invited as speakers, and so on. So it actually helps us to do our daily work. But from communication or this engagement perspective, it's important to do the next step and analyze them and assess their priorities. And we will have an opportunity to see, and I will share some practical points how I am doing this, and maybe you have had some experience, or you can share some tools. But what is important, and again, what is often a mistake here, that these priorities are assessed not for specific case, but general. Just one example, for example, company assess the interest or the impact of their stakeholders just for the company itself. And of course, when you prepare such very general analysis, you actually cannot use it, because the interest and the impact of the stakeholders may differ from one topic to another, or one Europe objective to another. But we will look at this right now. And then the second thing is to understand your stakeholders, which can be part of engagement, but also to understand how you can reach them, what channels they are using, what is important for them. Because this is another challenge which at least I have faced. We prepare the list, we find out who are the most important stakeholders, and then we realize that we have some which are crucial, but which are not interested in what we are doing. So we have to find a way how to make them feel that it's worth to engage in our activities. Yes, and then engagement. So Anna just informed me that we have a coffee break, but before we have a short break, I would like to ask you to think about your potential stakeholders, since I understood that you already have done this. Maybe you can, during a short break, take a look at this stakeholder list, which you already have prepared for the projects. But those who haven't such list, the first step is to think which groups or individuals can be impacted or affected during your project or after it's implemented, and who would also have an interest in the outcome. And think outside your direct stakeholders, these vulnerable groups, which are the heart of your project, I would say, but the rest who already are around or in your project or might be. So on this note, a short coffee break, just 5 minutes, and then we will continue.
10 minutes. I'm just thank you, that's for introduction, and we are we started to work now from my side, and I just saw that Hannes started to walk around. That's why I thought that maybe you need some cup of coffee. So
okay.
and yeah, but thank you. So we can have a 10 minutes coffee break, and you can put on the presentation so we can have it.
My question was, while others are joining us, do you have some stakeholders list already which you are using or not?
Well, actually, we don't have special stakeholders. When we are writing articles, then our stakeholders are the people of the region. Also when we build the association later, then also the people are our stakeholders. But yeah, when it comes to crowdfunding, for example, then we have the group of companies or other organizations who can give us money. So that's another stakeholder. I think it's not so specialized.
Okay. Hannes, what about you? Since I noticed that you do already quite a lot in communication field, do you use stakeholders or stakeholder management?
Yes, we use stakeholders. I mentioned we have a big list with stakeholders, and actually we have 2 new stakeholders. We met on Friday. I'm working on the possibilities of working with families. And it's from the a job center, and another one is from the, I don't know what it's in English, church working service. So, and yes.
Like employment agency or
What do you say?
I also didn't hear you well, but it was something about the employment agency or service or something like that.
One was employment agency, the official, and another one is from the service of working in context of church or diaconry. And both are the guests of our meeting on Friday, and then we discussed what how we can work together and what can they do for our target group.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So you would help a lot with your experience in stakeholder management. I think it could be useful for others. I will share just a few slides, but not only just share. I will try to use it also for some practical activities, since our technical possibilities are a bit restricted today. So I will be the one who will lead all these, but I hope that you will get involved. So thank you, Hannes and Tina. You just mentioned some of your stakeholders. I will share how I do this in my organization, and also when I help to some projects or other teams or companies. So usually this list of stakeholders is quite long. And I usually, here you can see kind of categories of potential stakeholders. And they usually are both like internal stakeholders and external. Internal usually are all of your employees, your whole team. External stakeholders might be, for example, for companies, might be customers or clients. These might be, as I mentioned, NGOs or government or maybe municipality. It can also be media or for example, influencers or suppliers, banks, or other source of finance, for example, some projects, also local community, and any other individuals or groups which might be impacted by the project or your activities, or which might support or maybe prevent the success of the project. So this is also very important. So you include in this list not only those who might support you, but also those be against your activities. Because one of the aims of stakeholder engagement is to as I usually say, you need this support network, and if you do this stakeholder management in the right way, you actually build this support network, which can help you greatly in implementing implementing your project. For example, I am a stakeholder. I'm identified as stakeholder, for example, for a Coca-Cola company, and they engage me in different surveys and in group meetings with other stakeholders, and also inform about their activities. And what, of course, later they get my ideas or my opinion about some things or some topics important to them. But also I'm so informed that I become kind of their ambassador. I don't like sugar drinks, and I don't like my children drinking too much these sweet drinks. But on the other hand, thanks to this stakeholder management process, I'm quite well informed about what they are doing and the reasons behind these activities. So how I usually do this, and maybe some of you already have this. Anna just asked also in a chat about whether I'm using some table. Yes, I have usually one table for contacts. Another table is where I assess the interest and impact of each stakeholder. And here you can use just stakeholder categories in this left column. For example, I will just write as an example of, for example, local municipality, or some specific small, for example, company which operates in our village, for example. Here might be, for example, smart village action group as the stakeholder, or I mean, lot of here. It's also important that you are as precise or specific as possible. Of course, quite often these stakeholders are similar, so you don't have to put the long list of all the names. And then I usually assess their interest, and when I think about the interest, I usually use this score from 1 to 10 to assess interest and their potential impact. When I think about the interest, I think how much this stakeholder is interested in that I find, for example, some solution to this specific challenge, like in your project cases. Are they interested, or they are not interested at all? They are indifferent to this. Nothing like will change in their lives if you will implement or not implement your project. So usually I assess the interest here. For example, in your cases, I think in most of the projects, local municipality at least should be interested in what you are trying to implement, because it's about social good. So I would say that the interest is 9 here, and when you think about impact, then it's about the influence a stakeholder has to help you reach your goal, or develop certain solutions. So how much this local municipality, for example, can help you with the project. Okay, we will write here that they are not maybe so capable to impact this project. Small company may not have an interest, but they could help you a lot with some of their resources. And Smart Village Action Group would be interested and but cannot, for example, help you anyhow. So just an example. So what I'm doing usually with these stakeholders, then we put them on such an axis to see which are stakeholders having the highest power and the highest interest. So usually with these stakeholders we work on sometimes even on daily basis. So from a communication plan perspective, it would be great if you could, of course, we will not have enough time to do this right now, but if you could think about your projects and till the next time we will see each other, it would be great if you could prepare the list of stakeholders, or at least stakeholder categories, and try to assess their interest and potential impact if you are looking at the goal of your project. Goal of your project is just cannot find the word in English. The point for assessment. So their interest in whether you reach this goal or not, and the same about the impact. Is it clear, or this was too theoretical so far?
It was very interesting for me, and we understand it quite clear. So thank you. It gives a good
okay. Yeah, but now we can move to this axis. I just prepared some notes, the note pages, so we can. Usually, if we use this axis from 1 to 10, then somewhere in the middle there is a 5. When I have this Excel sheet with interest and impact scores, for example, local municipality, we can write down here local municipality. It's not so good. We'll change the font here, and so I will make it a bit smaller. So local municipality had a score 9 with the interest and 6 with the impact. So so it can be somewhere here, because this is interest axis, and this is the power and or impact, and here might be this local company which have a quite low interest but potentially high impact. So this could be around here. And then we have another example of this local group. Which have high interest, but quite low impact. And potentially there might be also a lot of stakeholders which are initially identified, but which have a low power or impact and low interest. So they will be here in this quadrant. So what I usually do, and why this task is important, because sometimes it might seem that it's not useful. It's just for doing or nice to have activity. Merle, maybe you can switch on the microphone. There's some.
Yes.
Having some strange noises. I'm not sure. Yeah, thank you. It should be. What I usually use this for, of course, from one hand we can see which who are the stakeholders we should work more closely together or engage more actively. But on the other hand, it usually makes me ask myself why, for example, these stakeholders which are in this quadrant having high power or impact, why they have low interest, and how can I increase their interest? How can I find these common points for them to get interested and support my project or my activities? When you look at this, can you think of some stakeholders which in your organization or in your projects can be in this quadrant?
So there is a huge prison in the municipality of Jõhvi, and it means that in 2 years about 100 of ex-prisoners are going to live there. So we tried to write a project where we wanted to create 5 places for bakery, and the municipality is absolutely not interested, absolutely not. And this is a region where lack of work was terrible. So what can we do? We didn't even want money. We just wanted their support.
Yes, this is. I think this is quite a common challenge. I have faced this working with different municipalities. One thing is, as with other stakeholders, just show them and prove how things might change for them if this project would be implemented. And what we, at least in Latvia, see working with municipalities, then quite often people there just do not want to make any changes because it's easier for them. So what you can use maybe some other stakeholders. Like we did in one municipality, we engaged companies because municipalities depend very much on companies, on employers. So you could find this support somewhere. I mean, with some other stakeholders, and they might have kind of larger or more serious impact to municipality to get them involved. It's just an idea, but from my experience, it works because sometimes municipalities, not only municipalities, other organizations do not take seriously NGOs or some civic organizations, but of course for them it's important what companies or employers thinks or do. So if you could find support there, you could then.
Actually, we can do very well without the municipality. Municipality is just a beauty, actually. But I was just shocked that it is their problem. It is absolutely their problem. And we offer them actually help, and they just don't want it.
Yeah.
And this is a region where it's the lack of work, not in other places, Estonia, where it's lack of working force, but there is lack of work, really. So I was pretty shocked.
Yeah, but I absolutely understand you, because I as I said, I have faced this, and even if you offer a municipality some solutions which can improve the life of their local citizens, or even somehow improve the business environment, or increase employment, they very often choose not to implement any changes. So here the question is, of course, if you can, if you don't need them, then they can stay in this quadrant with low interest, but it's usually worth to think of how to increase their interest. Maybe not as the first step, but it can be useful later. So this is about stakeholders. Maybe some other examples with stakeholders having low power but high interest. For example, we recently realized that in Latvia, for example, still civic society organizations, NGOs, often have a high interest in certain topics, but they still lack of impact to reach some changes. So very often when I look at companies stakeholder, this matrix, I see NGOs in this quadrant where currently this local group is situated. Maybe some other examples.
I used to ask Mette, in your case in Denmark, how it works, because in your case you have a stronger civic society in general terms. Of course, it has weakened in a sense, but still you have stronger power, I think, in NGO and civic society. Maybe you can give us some impression of what's going on partnerships.
Yes. As far as I know, I don't know that we have a list of stakeholders for our little project here, but as we see it, we have the local municipality here as when you show this as table, I see them as very powerful and also high interest, because we work very closely together with a leader from the social psychiatry who's very involved in everything about social work in the municipality. So why the sound is weird also for you? Or is it just here?
No, I hear you. At least I hear you well.
Okay. I hear my own voice double now. I don't know why. But I'll try. Then interrupt if you don't hear me. So the local municipality is a strong stakeholder for us, for our little project, and also the university, as I see it, because we want to make work with the sustainability of the project by involving the university and the students as a continuous resource into the project, because every year with new students, we want to bring them into the project and work with the social service users in the social psychiatry. So the university is also a stakeholder with high power and also high interest, I think, in the project.
But I thank you for sharing this because when first thing which comes to my mind, that not only universities but also student organizations can be your stakeholder. Because this is the way how to reach them. At least in Latvia, they are quite active within the universities, but I mean they are different from the management of universities. Of course, they're you can use different channels to reach them. So and another thing, students is good example, because in my organization we actually previously we spent quite a lot of time working with students, and after we did this stakeholder analysis, we realized that actually students yes, they have maybe high interest in what we are doing in general, but if we are looking at our objectives, for example, to improve business environment in Latvia, we realize that they don't have almost any power or impact, and also very low interest in this specific objective. So we realized that we have spent so much time on dealing with them, on guest lectures, on helping with their thesis and so on. Of course, we are still doing this, but after this analysis, we realized that we should not spend so much effort on this specific stakeholder group. Instead, we have to, for example, work more with the business environment or the companies themselves, or, for example, Ministry of Economics. The same actually was with the state president, because in very beginning we thought that it's important that state president is kind of not our mentor, but the one who is involved in our activities and shows the importance. And then after we realized that actually, of course, it's always nice to have a state president in any activity, but if we really look at our objectives or our specific activities or goals, actually he cannot help us a lot. Of course, he can maybe strengthen our positions, or it would be nice to have him and show others that this is that we are doing some important job, but he's not as important as we thought. But but we realized this after this analysis, because very often when you start to do this, or even before you start to do anything with stakeholders, it seems that they all are very important and they all should be engaged.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point, and that's where we are right now. I think we're more just here. We need some stakeholders to to support the project, but we didn't analyze like this who have the most power or who are the highest interest. So this way of analyzing it will be helpful for us in Denmark.
Yeah, thanks.
I think we can also distinguish at some point those who are more representing our project or promoting or promoters, and from those who are more actively engaged in the process and carrying the bag with us through the way. I think it's also helpful to put them in the right boxes.
But here, as I also shared in the beginning, it's important to really not look at the organization or at your startups in general, but really look. Usually, it's helpful to make this analysis regarding your objective. Because this is something very specific, and for example, in our case, with my organization, we have 3 main objectives, and we did this analysis for each of the main strategic objective, and the picture in each of 3 cases were absolutely different, actually. Because at some points, for example, these local companies, as in this example, might be quite interested in some, but in some cases they would not be interested at all, or the same about impact. So please, when you do this analysis, do this about your objectives. So be here also as specific as possible. It will, I mean, the result will be more useful if you will choose this approach, because sometimes companies prepare this metrics and then don't know how to use it, because actually it says nothing. So if you do this about your objectives, then it's very, very useful. It will help you to build the communication plan, and also like Anna just mentioned, and some of you previously, I think, about to also help to build this support network, because people, for example, in this quadrant with low power but high interest can be those who can help to speak about this. At least, like in our case, state president was in this actually in this quadrant regarding one of our objectives, and yes, he one of former presidents used to talk about our activities. Of course, he personally, or as a state president, could not change a lot, but it was his voice was very important for us. So, but in some cases, state president would fall out of these 3 boxes. But still, you have to monitor also those with low power and low interest. But usually in this A quadrant, there usually are also state institutions, or those who are supervising or controlling your work, because they usually have high power or high impact, but they are not so interested in one specific company, like state, for example, tax administration. They have so many clients, so many organizations and companies that, of course, they are not so interested in one company, but they can affect very seriously any of companies. So if there are any other questions, please ask me. Here are just some points which I find important regarding stakeholder management and also communication strategy. First, as I already stressed several times, it's important that you identify all the relevant stakeholders, and it's important that you, as in my example with Coca-Cola, of course, it's important to participate in different surveys and in workshops, but also be informed about what has been has been already done, or what are your plans, and also it's stakeholders usually are very happy, or most of them are happy, at least in my experience, if they are engaged, if they are approached to get some consulting, and what can be really useful, I would recommend you to start, if you find, of course, this relevant, start with a survey for all your stakeholders, trying to actually assess their interest, because sometimes, or in most cases, usually prepare this metrics based on our understanding about what our stakeholders might think. But it's important to ask them what they are thinking about us, or about our project, or its objective, or solutions we already are using or might use. So so this is one thing, and another, of course, right now it's difficult to use, but what really works very well in normal conditions is a group meeting with the stakeholders, and it's really important allow them to share their opinion in person. They appreciate this, and they really feel like closer to you. But what is important from your point of view, Merli just mentioned that the municipality, for example, do not see their interest in such an important topic. But for example, they, if you would organize such a stakeholder meeting, they still could be invited. And first, they would have an opportunity to hear opinions of other stakeholders, but they would somehow participate in this planning process also. So once they will be participants of this process, they less likely will ignore these activities in the future, or they won't be able to say that they were not aware of what you are doing, or so on. So it's still important to engage them. And I have been leading such workshops for the companies, and usually these workshops end up with a very good feeling from both sides. These group meetings are appreciated by the company, because it gives opportunity them to hear what their stakeholders are thinking, but also gives the kind of floor to initiate some new ideas on potential solutions. Because when we are in our own box, it's quite difficult to think out of the box. And these group meetings with stakeholders helps us to step out and really see different perspectives. And from the other side, stakeholders, and it is also my experience, but stakeholders usually are very happy, and very often I see that they are surprised even that they are invited to such workshop, and that their opinion is so important for company or organization or municipality. I would encourage you to use this approach, because sometimes we might think that I don't want to disturb people, and I maybe it's not so important for them, and it's of course it's important for me and my team, but maybe others do not see the importance of this activity or project. So please don't think so, because my experience shows that people are really eager to get involved, because it's interesting. It's interesting to meet others, to share or to contribute something. In your case, it's social good, but also to contribute to some companies, for example, to become better. Yes. So thing to add here, please turn on your microphones and share. This is I mentioned that I'm also working in Urbact project, Cities for CSR, and this is an example for which is used in our training. How the stakeholder interest analysis might be done. For example, in case of
full screen, please. We can't see it.
Yeah. Sorry. This is maybe this is more a detailed approach. Usually, what I use from this, to be honest, I usually concentrate on this right column, in case if this stakeholder is important, but this stakeholder is not interested in my activities. Then I think about potential actions to increase, for example, their interest. But this is also very useful, especially if you. In your cases, it could be useful, since you have very specific objective for companies. It might be kind of lot of work to do, but it really helps. I would not say that I use this template or this form a lot after it is prepared, but this preparation process is useful to think about how to about my communication activities or engagement activities. So yeah, this I'm sure this will be shared. Anna will share with you. So if you will see this useful and appropriate or relevant for you, you can use also this approach.
Okay.
And then just one example, I mentioned you several times about companies engaging stakeholders in their surveys and workshops. So usually the result of this is the materiality matrix. Every company do it a bit differently. This is just one example by Nestle, and usually companies kind of align what is stakeholder interest, how important, for example, climate change in Nestle's case or human rights are for their stakeholders, and how significant it's for the company itself, and then use this approach to choose on which topics to communicate more. So this also can be used, because very often we think that of course topics to which we work on daily basis should be important for the rest of the people, but in most cases it's not like this. We all have our own priorities or expectations. So this stakeholder engagement tool can help to identify which topics are relevant or most relevant for your stakeholders. So you can later focus on these topics in your external communication. Okay, so it's only part of my today's story, but we are a bit out of time, as I understand, and we did not come to communication plan, but maybe this is something that we can do then, or focus more next time. And I noticed, Anna, that you mentioned some of your activities, breakfast with stakeholders. It's really called so, or it's just your idea?
We have breakfast with social service providers, but we can also rename a bit in the context or try to make our own decisions in this particular case. So I just propose to use it as a breakfast with stakeholders. So
but exactly, this is something that other organizations are doing. They call it breakfast with stakeholders. So it's absolutely a good idea. And the method which is used during such breakfast, of course, it's not only about eating and having fun together, but it's really about, for example, using World Cafe method, where each table during this breakfast, most probably it will happen when we will be able to meet each other in person. But still, some of the methods can be used also online. They just come up with some ideas or solutions for our project or activities. So this can be both very kind of team building or entertaining activity from one side, but also give us a lot of useful ideas on solutions. So please always think of both these sides, not just about having fun. Thank you. I understand that we are out of the time, but I will share my slides with Anna, so she can later share with you. And I will also prepare some very short description about potential homework, because as far as I understood from Anna, you already are preparing communication plan, and some of you already have some communication framework. So I think next time it could be important then to discuss and see how this plan could be adjusted or improved. So yes, maybe Anna, you could add something. I hope that I'm not wrong.
No, it's thank you very much. That's yes, the idea behind this training was on the one hand to hear this approach or tools that could be helpful for our project communication, micro project communication strategies. And of course, we cannot afford the full course of communication, management, planning, whatever. So we will do more compressed way. So our partners are asked until the 15th of December to the next meeting with you to prepare or sketch this plan in their own way. How is do you hear me well? Yeah. Please, everyone who is here, make use of the information you already got and the information you have in your pockets or on your desk and how you are working with this, and try to sketch the communication plan in terms of stakeholders. I think was the main point here. So take it as a starting point And that's it. Would be very helpful if you prepare the description of the task so I can distribute among others as well who were not present today. So you can work until the 15th, and then we will present it, our plans for you. You can make some time limits for our presentations, and formats may be more clear. What do you expect from us? And we will try to do our best to make it and try to. I had an idea to make it with our group, in a group, to discuss it and try also to come further with our engagement in communication, because we are not so far yet. Tina is working straight on it, and you met your micro project with the podcasts are that doing already something about it, but we are kind of not so much in it, so it will be very good to do this, I think, with the engagement of our social group members.